that even at the CIS level, we work on daily. So this bag comes to every practice, and for the first half of the season, we did it every day. Now we're into the second half of the season. We have about a month left, so our focus on practice and what we do has changed. We still do defense, but we've changed our main focus to other areas. But it still comes out about once a week, and I say, let's get the ropes. So that's the first movement that has to be developed to basically increase your area of intervention. We'll go down further and break it down very simply for the younger ones. And I would like to say at this point that I think coaching, the most difficult part of coaching is coaching the young athletes. For example, in volleyball countries, which we are not, we don't have a professional league. The CIS is the highest level of volleyball in Canada. If I talk about two countries, I played professionally in Italy for 15 years. They're a volleyball country. So by the time they're 7 or 8, they're training like volleyball, like hockey players are training when they're 7 or 8 in our country. So they have a concept of where they have a lot of their best coaches coaching their youngest athletes and just developing their basic skills on passing the ball, setting the ball, and working on these techniques. So their best coaches coaching their youngest athletes. So what you're doing, I believe, is probably more difficult than what I'm doing. I'm teaching athletes who are already developed to a certain extent in something that I've done my whole life. It's not that difficult. You're stretching your boundaries in a sport that's very, very technical with young kids who have to be taught things very methodically if they want to learn to play the game well, but they don't really want to do them. They want to spike and they want to play. But to play this game well, it's so technical that we have to learn the technical things at the beginning very well. So Nick is now going to do a roll here. And this is something very important. I'm going to go left or right first? I'm going to go right first? He wants to go right first, so I want to go right first. Okay, so when you roll, you've always got one side that is easier than the other. So right here, I'm going to pull Nick, and Nick is going to lunge to his right, reach with his arm, and then roll out of it. Okay? So right now, if Nick had to go to his right, so get back in here. Make the same move.
I did an accident on purpose.
So if Nick had to make this move and go for the ball, he can do it.
Hey, I'm going to check out those moves later today.
So you're going to see him later today.
So that was easy for him. He's used to doing that. So the key once again here is being able to take that step, get horizontal to the ground, then reach and intervene, and then lay your body down. So he can go both ways. That's not too bad.
I'll take some rope.
So as you can see, the better they get at doing these movements, the more area we cover. Okay? Now we're going to take it back. What do you guys think of the ball? Do you? How about you? Okay, you guys?
Uh-oh. Possible recruits. I coached Reserve, the green shirt I coached 2 years ago.
Here, just to start off working on defensive techniques.
They're not smart enough.
We
They're
play
just
some
leader kids.
pepper. Pepper is just two players playing volleyball together. And we do a bit of it, not a ton of it, because I find at times we don't do it well enough to reap the benefits. We have 2 hours in the gym, and usually the amount I've talked right now is more than I'll ever talk in a whole practice. Because once I have my team into the first 2 weeks of the year, they understand what we're going to do. I'll have very short sound bites of the name of the drill. And my theory is if the balls aren't in the air, we're not getting any better. So the time that we spend talking about volleyball is after practice, or they'll come to my office or in a team meeting. But I don't stop my practice a lot to do what I'm doing right here. because they already know. And I have my seniors explain to the new kids, if you have any questions, ask the senior, and then we'll ask John after practice, okay? So right now we're just going to start with some easy volleyball intervention. So I'm going to hit the ball hard. He's going to defend it to himself. Hold it, he's going to get it, hold it, and he's going to give it back to me. So I'm going to hit it high, he's going to defend it up, and then back to me. Just no. Normally he would do it back to me, but I'm not playing defense right now because I'm the coach. I'm not the pitch, so. Okay, so the goal right here for Nick is just taking the ball high to himself, and then getting it back to me. Because in a situation, if he was playing defense, let's say right here in position 5, and he was in, and somebody hit the ball and it was coming at his head, he would do just that, get the ball high in the air. So now I'm going to hit the ball low, and when I call it the red basket, he's going to do the same thing, where he's just going to hit the ball straight up, okay? Because we're always trying to basically, on defense, is get the ball high into the middle of the court, so our setter is going to have options. He's going to have options setting it to the left, to the right, to the middle if it's close enough, to the pipe, to the C ball if the ball is defensively played well enough. So, as a coach, I hit balls at them every day in drills because I have the control to put it where I want them to increase their area. So now I'm going to hit the ball to Nick's right. He's going to dig it up, hold it back to himself. And we're going to do it again. So just work on your step to the right, your lunge, and hold it, and get it back. There he goes. Okay, now I'm going to go to your left and do the same thing.
He's not lunging.
So we always want to think about getting the ball high.
He's not lunging.
And
it's easy when it's right.
Giving our setter a chance to get it. Let me ask you guys a question now. What do you have difficulty with your players doing defense? I'm looking for one answer in particular.
Moving?
Moving. He has a difficult time getting them to move because they don't know how to lay their bodies down. Correct. Okay. How about another one?
Like reading the play. They're very young athletes, so they don't have that ability yet.
They don't know
Anticipation.
They don't know where they're supposed to be. Okay. I'm looking for another that I have a very difficult time doing, even at the next stage. It's getting them to be stopped. Because before you can move to where the ball goes, you have to be stopped. You've got to be in a stop position before you read to where the ball goes. So a lot of times you'll probably see players doing things behind the block where someone's hitting the ball cross court and they're doing this move into the middle. The ball makes a micro touch off the block, goes this way, but they're already committed this way. Now they can't recuperate to get back over there. So that's why we always say to be in your neutral athletic position, hips over knees over ankles, and to be stopped. Some people in volleyball in Canada teach something called the split hop. Has anybody ever heard this before? Kelly has heard the split hop. We don't teach the split hop. What the theory is about the split hop is doing a little jump before the ball is hit, and therefore the theory would be that little bit of movement helps you to go in any direction that you can go. I can tell you, just from my own personal experience, the best volleyball coaches in the world, men's volleyball, they don't teach it. And the basic reason why is there's just no time. There is no time. The ball is moving so fast and so hard. Now in men's volleyball, there's no time to jump. If I'm playing in position 1 here, and if you watch some of the Olympics, and you watch this player here, if it's the right side player, the setter is here in the back row, he's in this position here. Often the ball is hit at him, and he's going to dig the ball, but the ball's done with no movement at all. He's just in a position like this, with both arms out, like this, and the ball will be hit, and he's just trying to bring it up into the middle of the court out of this position. So if he tries to to jump when the player's being hit. Then he's got to get down into this position, and if he's unbalanced, and the ball is tipped to the middle, he's unbalanced going this way, now he can't even move there. So that's why we don't teach any movement at all. We try to get stopped, so you get into your defensive position. We use the X mark right here. I tell my players because we were using a position that was more here, but what we're finding this year, we have a younger team, so they weren't conceptually getting that. So oftentimes, they were back here. So to get them where I wanted them to go, I said, get to the X. So they were right here on the X. And often they would still be in here, which is fine. But they know this is where they're supposed to be. So they're here, they're ready for the quick attack. The ball gets set to the outside, they can go right here. If the ball gets set to the right side, they can do this. But they're in this position, and that's the movement. We're in this position, and that's the movement. And it's always shuffling like this. Rarely should you ever be crossing your feet unless you are releasing to go dive after the ball. Nick, you want to release from that position there and go dive to that far corner. And just turn across the ball. So there, so if he had to chase that ball down, that was tipped over the block, he could release across the. But most of the time, it's in this controlled position here. So, Nick, I'm going to get you back into your defensive position. We use something called the satellite. It's our defensive area of intervention because what the satellite represents is this floating ball in front of you. So if I'm in this position here, I've got this satellite in front of me. So I can take any ball that's driven at me and dig it here, here. If I have enough time, I can go here. Or if I have enough time, I can go here. But often, there isn't that amount of time. So I go from here to here. And that's a satellite. And I go from here to here, or here to here. So everything remains in front of me. Because the less movement we make, the more efficient we are. So I'm not going to tell you where you're going to hit it. You're just going to get your satellite going. Okay, so Nick's satellite is going to be ready to dig this high or low. So I want him in this position. What we find a lot of kids doing when the ball is hit, they default to going right here. So the ball's hit, their arms come in, but there's no telling if that ball's going to be hit there or not. So if you're in this position, you're ready to go to any position. Up here with your satellite in front of you. So Nick just did something right there that's another thing that's very important. He stood in front of the ball rather than what we call matrixing out of the way of the ball. So he just stood there and the ball was hit directly at his chest. And instead of moving to try to make the perfect platform, he just dug it off his chest like this. And we often see this. We often have film of our players, sometimes in position 5, they'll be in this position right here. There'll be a hard-driven ball down the line where there's no time to do anything but to stay in this position. It's almost like a shortstop or a third baseman in baseball, just staying in front of the ball and just scooping it up into the middle of the court. What happens, and you've seen the movie The Matrix, where Keanu Reeves is trying to get out of the way of the bullets. What we have sometimes with our defensive player right here is the player going like this, the ball's hit, turning like this, trying to get the perfect platform, and shanking the ball into the crowd, or even going like this, missing it completely, and coming back and being right on the court, the ball's landing right there. We have to go back and look at the film and go, how did that happen? It's because the player moved. There's just not that much time to move. There really isn't. Okay. We're going to do a simple thing here, guys. We're going to have two guys over here.
Is the most important.
Two guys over
It's
here.
cool. What's most important in university? It's being stopped because every ball's being hit. How many balls are being hit in high school volleyball? So
Just go across. It's okay. So we're just going to do something very simple called big set. And we do this every single day. And what we're going to do is I'm going to hit the ball at the end. And you're going to run in and set the ball over there. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to switch lines. After you set the ball, you're going to go around with there and hit the ball. Okay? Oh, this is just watch. Okay? So here you go. You're going to hit more. So Nick's going to dig it up, and you're going to run in and set it over there. Okay, perfect.
I didn't.
One thing we're constantly doing is we're watching the feet of our defenders. So I'll have an assistant coach stand on the baseline, just watching the feet of the defender. And you can do it with your athletes, and you can see how difficult it is for them just to keep their feet still. That's why we don't teach the split hop, because it's hard to stay still. Get into your defensive position. What does it look like? Good.
Xander's got one of the best set of hands I've seen in. Oh, wait, how do you know whose younger brother is? Zed. Who is that? That's his younger brother. He's way better in the green shirt.
Yeah,
He's way better than his brother.
his body type is a lot
Way
better.
better. He was 12 years old, and he played for my 13U like venture in my 13U 2 years ago. His hands then were really good. So he's setting for the 14
To see how they
years.
release and intervene on the ball to get it up and have it be settled. Okay, what did he just do right there? He collapsed, right? He just went down to that's okay. It's okay. That's the norm. Even with the players that I coach, that's the norm. That's what they do. So we have to really break it down to simple things. And I'll show those in a few seconds. Let's continue this just to get a little bit more repetition so that we don't okay, so he just dropped down in front. The move wasn't bad. It can be called a number of things. It can be called a front slide stride. So they're wearing knee pads, Nick's wearing knee pads. You're not. You're going to cut. You're going to get a cut or a burn. Nick showed what happened last night at practice. So he's all burnt up on the side of his leg. Unfortunately, to play good defense, you have to be willing to sacrifice your body. It's that simple. You're going to get burned. You're going to get cuts. And that's why all my players have these shirts, these long sleeve shirts, to play defense in. They don't always wear them. Some of them never wear them. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be forced to lay their body out in practice doing defensive skills. When I first joined our national team, we had a Japanese coach, and these were times a lot different than now, where you could coach and teach in a different way. We used to do 4-hour defensive practices alone with one water break in between. From 5 to 9, a water break at 7 p.m., and then back in the gym for another 2 hours. And he used to take us to Japan because his father was the vice president of the Japanese Federation, and we would go play against the Japanese and watch the Japanese, who are known for some of the best defense in the world. And to give you an idea how much coaching has changed, this little 5'7" Japanese fellow, one time we played against Japan. He was sent to Canada by his father to develop our national team program. We played against Japan, and we lost 3-0. He lost face in front of his father because he told his father we were progressive. Our first match, we didn't play very well. And he was talking to us in a group outside in the hallway, outside of the gym. I was an 18-year-old kid from Rexdale, looking up into the sky. He just reached forward and slapped me across the face. Could you imagine doing that to any of your athletes now? And me being a kid kid from Rexdale, I took a step to grab him. And the veterans on the team grabbed me and pulled me back. And he said,
Joe Renita, please call extension 651. Joe Renita, please call 651.
and he said to me, you will never play again. And I said, you will never touch me again. So we went back to the hotel. I went up to my little Japanese hotel room and thought, wow, that's it. My career's over before it even started. And the call came, come down and meet me in the lobby. I thought I was going to get the ticket home. And Ken, Maeda, and myself sat on this little couch in the lobby of the hotel, and we had a great conversation. I said, Ken, I'll do anything for you. I'll train for 10 hours, I'll run through a wall, but I said, where we're from, you cannot hit us without expecting to get hit back. And that's part of our culture. And the rapport that we had from that point on just grew. We had a mutual respect, and he developed a group of athletes that went on to finish 4th in the Olympics. And his philosophy was, I will take a larger group and train them so hard that the weak ones will fall off and the ones that remain will be very good. And we did have a good group of athletes at that time, and it was all because of this Japanese man that literally beat us into the ground defensively every single day. So that's where part of my philosophy comes from, is from this Japanese fellow who's still around volleyball in Japan, and the Japanese are some of the innovators of many different techniques in volleyball defensively, especially. So
His calf is like the size of my head. Watch his hand.
we talk about taking the step. I'm going to make it take the step.
Watch his wrist.
So we took the step, we got a launch right there.
That's Phil's second touch
What they
turn.
did there is what a lot of big men do now.
Total.
Is they take the step, they reach out, they bring the ball up, and they don't roll out completely, they kind of corkscrew underneath it, which is a good way for bigger guys to be able to get to the ball. So I'm going to do it to you now. I'm going to hit the ball a little bit out of your range, take a step with your right leg, reach with your right arm, and try to lay out the other back, okay? There you go. That's it. Just take the step a little bit forward. You'll be right on the step. You ready as well? How about if I don't tell you which way to hit it?
It's for the ball.
It's all about making that move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're watching the ball.
You see, though, how we're stopped, which is really good, which means Kelly's done a very good job of getting them and keeping them stopped. Because a lot of kids, my guys, a lot of them still have happy feet. Nick, for example, is still struggling with it a bit because he was taught in his club team to do the split hop. So he was taught to jump at the moment of impact. But what that leads you to be is unbalanced. So we're trying to get Nick stopped. So now he stops. That's really good right there. And he's been working on that very, very hard. I'm not going to tell you where you're going to hit it. You're just going to release and make your move to the ball. Okay?
Club coach.
Okay. Do you see how you can get further if you took a step? Okay. Try to take a step. Okay.
Mark teaches it, but it was because he learned
Two
from
steps, lay him, touch the ball, and then try to lay himself out. That's good. Good. They're at the beginning of developing the proper movement. Okay. So I'm gonna get Nick out of his comfort zone. So there he got there, he corks under it. In a perfect world, I would like to see my athletes be able to get there, get under the ball, roll out of it, because now they're back up on their feet, and if he's in position 6, and he made that dig and he's up on his feet, then he might be ready for a set that he might get back here. So it's all about getting off the X, moving up, increasing your area of integration, then getting back up on your feet and be balanced once again. Because you never know where that ball is coming from. We often talk about our players surrendering to the fact that we don't know where the ball is going to go until it gets past the block. So I'm sure you've all seen this. A player on this side of the court, he has the ball set tight. He goes to tip it. This player thinks, he's tipping it into the middle of the court. he goes to take this step, the ball hits the block and goes out that way. You've seen it, I know you have. But this player here has guessed. So what we try to do is never guess. Never guess on anything. And you asked a question about reading. It was you asked about reading the play. So there's, and I had this, I wrote this down last night when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about. Reading and guessing. They're two completely different things. So reading, for example, would be the ability of this player right here, let's say, or a better example would be a player in position 6, right here. So he's in this position here. The ball's set to the outside hitter on that side, but the ball is outside the antenna. So he can't hit that ball down the line. So an example of reading would be him taking a step this way, knowing that the ball has to come into the court. It's got to come into the court. It perhaps could be touched and go out there, but he's got to hit it this way. Guessing is what I was talking about right here, trying to predict where that ball is going to go before it passes this block. Because as a blocker, my job is to try to block the ball, but I can be a good blocker without ever touching the ball, which is a different concept, but they kind of go hand in hand. So if we're talking floor defense, you have to be able to talk a bit about the block. The words we use at U of T are we block channels and we dig alleys. So if we've got a guy over here that we know his tendency is to hit cross court, we're going to take our block and we're going to hold the cross court position straight and hard and take away his strongest shot. And so we're going to block our channel. And our position, our defender position 5 is going to dig the alley. And the alley is right here. And we're going to know that this is not his best shot. If he can bomb this shot and hit this ball super hard, we may take away his line. But if we know he's a cross-court hitter and he only hits the line briefly, we're going to force him to hit here, or we're going to take away his hardest hit shot. And we can even block well without touching the ball. And it's a really hard concept for our kids to get because they think they're only successful is if they block the ball. And a lot of times what happens is they'll be in the right position, they'll see the ball right there, and they'll reach out and then just touch it a bit and it'll go down out of bounds, or it'll get out of the way that we can actually dig it. So we talk about being disciplined all the time. Straight, strong, disciplined block, and defense that's disciplined and not guessing. Because if we're disciplined here, it makes it easier for us to be disciplined here. Never guess where that ball's going, just go and get it. Get in your balanced, stable, athletic position, and go get that ball. Let's do a bit more of this, guys. I'm going to make you move, okay? Okay. You're going to have to try to take that step, okay? Take that step a little bit further. Okay, that's a good attempt. Really good attempt. Okay, take this step. Go. One of the main key things we have to think about when taking the ball is getting it high enough, because we have to give our setter the option of putting it wherever he wants. And he's more effective at doing that if he can use his hands rather than bump setting the ball.
Just don't move all this Paul Reader. Paul was so good at this stuff. In fact, I wasn't good at this stuff, so I brought Paul in for years to do like a full clinic and then fed off a lot of the stuff.
You have to sacrifice your body to make a better attempt on the ball. You couldn't quite get there with your feet, could you? No, so you kind of just, you touch it, but if you have it going like this, as soon as you make that attempt, you have it going like this, and pop it up, and let your body hit the ground, you could have had a ball dug up in the middle of the court. So that's,
Don't be Zed, come on.
the biggest thing about defense is you gotta be willing to get dirty. Dirty and a little bit hurt every now and then. Okay, what did you do there, Tim? Okay, he called it cheat. Anybody else? Another word?
Yes.
You guessed. You thought he knew where it was going. Okay. Gotta take the step. Gotta take the step. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's how you got
action tempo.
Okay, locked it up. Try to set that. Okay, get in your defense position.
Is your left
You don't know
one
where
always
your
goes
hand is, right? You have no idea, so be ready for
My
everything.
left's better.
Okay, there you go. Nice dig. Good set. Excellent. There you're in there. Okay, get off the X. Okay. Can you feel that if you took an extra step, you'd be closer to getting that ball? Okay, let me try with the rope.
I heard that drum.
Let's just try. Hold on to this. Get into your athletic position. Okay. You're gonna stay in that position. You're gonna pull it horizontal. Try to take 2 steps. You're gonna which foot's gonna go first? Okay, so you're gonna go right now. No, you just come right.
The shoulders hit the ground. Oh boy. Let him take you. Use your hands. Use your hands.
Right now, okay?
Use your hands. Hands.
There you go.
That's better.
You see that? Does it feel better? See how far you go?
His elbows.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
that's a perfect example of him having kind of a aha moment. If I can do that, I can cover so much more court. And imagine if you have 6 guys that can do that.
He's
All of a
walking.
sudden,
He's
you're
walking up the
covering
leg for
a
first.
huge amount of space.
Yeah, Caroline's a straight.
I've talked a lot here right now. Let me answer a few questions.